First in the pot, first in the roasting pot, is Berny Brownstein. And I will be sharing the honors with Ben Zuckerman. Ben is a dear friend. Well, not really. I think he met Bernie about 3 days ago. But Bernie is so easy to make remarks about that Ben is going to go first. Welcome, Ben Zuckerman.
Got some visual aids here. Don't look. So, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Ben Zuckerman. Now, on to Bernie. Actually, I am an old friend of his. And when I was asked to roast Bernie, I thought, I've never done anything like this before. This could be fun. I think I'll have a good time with it. But then I realized that for somebody to be roastable, they have to have flaws. Now, if I was roasting Mark Kaplan, this would be easy. And I don't know what anybody's going to say funny about Andy Goldman. But I'm going to work on Bernie. Actually, I've been Bernie's friend for, I think, something like 30 years. I can't remember exactly when we met. And I've liked him for at least 14 of those years. But when you're with friends, if you're friends with somebody for a long time, you get to know things about them that are not generally known. And so tonight, I'm going to have to reveal some of Bernie's secrets. And Bernie, I'm sorry. I hope you'll forgive me. It's all done in good fun. First of all, could you just stand up in case there's anybody in this room who doesn't know who Bernie is? I can't top that. I'm done. So the first thing you notice about Bernie is that full head of perfectly coiffed salt and pepper hair. It almost enters the room before he does. And in fact, it actually could. One of the things you don't know about Bernie is that this is what he looks like first thing in the morning. Sorry, Bernie. He sends his hair out every night to his stylist on Locust Street. He has it coiffed. He has it styled. They even trim it a little bit if necessary. They deliver it back to him first thing in the morning. He puts it on, and out he goes. And if you don't believe me, after we're done, go over, pull his hair a little bit. See what happens. Okay, the second thing you may have noticed about Bernie is his perfect tan. 365 days a year, he has that perfect tan. I know how he does that. He has taped to his bathroom mirror a photograph of his idol, who he emulates every day. He goes to the medicine cabinet, he grabs one of the 12 bottles of this that he stores. For those of you who can't read it, it's Neutrogena Gradual Sunless Build-A-Tan. And he compares himself to the picture. He sprays, he rubs, he wipes, he sprays. When he's got boner down pat, he's out the door. Okay, let's talk about another aspect of Bernie. The high-powered advertising executive, who we all know. The man behind the Brownstein Group. who always seems to be working, whether he's here or whether he's at the shore. And if you know, he's got a house down in Ventnor, and he spends a lot of time down there working on Brownstein Group projects. In fact, last week, while he was there on the beach working on one of his tough days, I took a photo of him. This is Bernie at work. Got a lot done that day. Actually, when he's in a city, he does go to the office. And he goes every day. And today was a typical day for Bernie in the office, and it went like this. First of all, he got up, he showered, put on his hair, put on his tan, went to work, got there 10 o'clock sharp. Went to Mark's office. He asked for something to do. Mark was busy on the phone. He said, come back later. By then it was 10:30, time for a coffee break. Went across the street to the Palm, which is his third home, had some coffee. Got back to the office at 11. He went to his secretary. He asked her for something to do. She said, I'm doing something for Mark, don't bother me, come back later. By then, the next thing you know, it was noon. Time for lunch. He went over to the Palm, again, to the bar, where he had lunch alone, except for the bartender. The guy talks to him every day while Bernie's there, so he's not totally alone. And he's back at the office at 1 o'clock. Looked around, found a summer intern. He asked her for something to do. She had no idea who he is. She asked him to stop bothering her. So now we get to about 1:30. He sent an email to Mark saying, isn't there anything I can do? He got an out-of-office reply. So at 2 o'clock, exhausted from his efforts, he went home to take a nap. Now, those of you who know Bernie know that he is a talented artist. Many of us have seen his oil paintings. They are beautiful. And I really got curious as to what he's working on now. So the other day, I went down to the studio in the basement of his house, and I found several canvases that were in progress, and they all looked like this. If you'll notice, though, he keeps all the paint inside the lines. This is not easy. There is another thing about Bernie that, when you stop to think of it, you probably know, but you never thought about. The man cannot spell. Exhibit A. Who the hell spells Bernie like this? You know? Nobody else. You know, when he was younger, they had spell check. This wouldn't have happened, but he stuck with it. Okay, so finally I'm going to wrap things up with a question. What do Johnny Carson, Donald Trump, Kim Kardashian, and Bernie Brownstein all have in common? Good. That's one answer. There's another answer. The first three of them all have lines of clothing with their names on it. Well, now Bernie will have a line of clothing. We know how dapper he is. I even tried to dress like him tonight with the turtleneck and the jacket. It's not the same. But he will soon be introducing the Bernie B line of men's clothing. And he's going to start with a line of beachwear for mature men. He was all set to have Bruce Jenner model it for him. But the timing didn't work. So Bernie has decided that he, personally, will model his beachwear line for all of his print ads. And he's given me permission tonight to give you a sneak preview of the first ad that will appear in next week's Jewish Exponent. You notice, that's Bernie. You didn't know he looked this good. Oh, you didn't see it over there. Okay, well, I've probably used up more than my fair share of time. So, Bernie, I do love you. You are handsome and gorgeous and smart and talented and all the things that people think about you. And I'm so glad that you are my friend.
Ben will be here all week. Try the veal. Stand up again. The man is going to be 80 years old. Look at that. Good looking as ever. I swear, every month the guy's driving a new sports car convertible. It's an Audi, it's a Lexus, it's a Jaguar. Driving in town, driving around Ventnor. The guy is a babe magnet. The only problem is that at 80 years old, he doesn't know how to take advantage of all the things that he has going for him. The other day, we're having lunch together. Where do we have lunch? At the Palm. We're sitting there, and at the next table, there's this gorgeous woman. She's brunette. She's about 30 years old. She could be a Sports Illustrated swimsuit model. She gets up. She's wearing a beautiful skirt and a beautiful black sequined jacket. And she goes over to Bernie, looks right at him, opens up her jacket, and she reveals this gorgeous, form-fitting, low-cut, white blouse with a cleavage that any man would absolutely go wild for. Bernie looks at her standing there and says, "You call that a lining?" Now, of course, Bernie has had some great success in the ad business. But I bet you didn't know just how close he came to writing the copy for the greatest commercial of all time. Of course, the scene is nowhere but the Palm. Bernie is sitting at the bar at his usual seat. Next to him, eating a hamburger, is this sort of chubby, little old, gray-haired lady. Bernie orders borscht. The bartender serves him his borscht. He takes a few sips. He looks up at the bartender and he says, "Where's the beets?" Next thing you know, the little old lady jumps off her chair, runs out the door, and in 2 weeks, Wendy's stock goes up 400%, and Sarah Peller is the sensation of the nation. Bernie came that close. And you know, with Bernie's good looks, speaking of what might have been, did you know that Bernie actually tried out for some famous movie roles? He came this close to being a matinee idol. Remember Animal House? They gave the part to this guy, John Belushi. Well, I can't believe it, because Bernie tried out for the part. How did Bernie not get that part? what might have been. Another one. Goodfellas, Goodfellas. Here is Bernie in his tryout for the role to be one of the gang. How did Bernie not get this part? Again, oh, what might have been. But folks, we're in luck. Do you remember the classic Cecil B. DeMille movie, Sansom and Delilah? Well, Steven Spielberg has a fourth cousin, twice removed. His name is Steven Spielkus. Steven is about to do a remake of that movie. And the movie, here's the original poster for the movie. Victor Mature as Samson and Hedy Lamarr as Delilah. Now for the upcoming remake of the movie, who is going to star in the movie as of now? You guessed it, our man Bernie. And who looks more like Victor Mature than Berny Brownstein? Now here is the promotional poster for the new movie. Now, you may remember that in the original poster, it said, "See Samson strangle a lion barehanded, crushing the beast to death with his grip of steel." On the new poster, it says, "See Bernie using his bare hands to strangle a kosher chicken." On the old poster, it said, and this is famous, I remember this as a kid, I'm sure many of you do, "See Samson, armed only with the jawbone of an ass, defeat a Philistine army of hardened warriors." Well, in the remake, "See Bernie destroy an army of warriors armed with only a roasted shank bone." And here it is. Now, finally, you'll remember in that movie, the cruelest scene of all is when Delilah, by the way, in the remake, Delilah is going to be played by Abe Foxman. And Delilah cuts off Bernie's hair, Samson's hair. Well, Bernie succeeded, when he tried out for the role, we actually got the hair from Bernie's head that was shorn off as he played the scene. We went to Bernie's barber, which is BJ, at the Groom Barber Shop on Locust Street. We got the clippings. Now, Bernie, would you stand up and come over here, please? I have gathered here a group of men. And if you would, I'd like you to make like a bride. Turn your back and take this bouquet of your clippings and toss it This fine gentleman will now perhaps gain Bernie's great looks, certainly his strength, maybe a little dandruff too, who knows. Bernie, we love you. Thank you for everything you've done for ADL. Now it's your turn.
Well, you guys are next. I survived mine. I hope you survive yours. How do I follow all that kindness? I guess that's kindness. But I do want to thank Larry and Ben for sharing their unique brand of creativity. And I'm particularly grateful that they took the time out of their busy schedules to be here with so many insightful reflections. We know Larry is particularly busy getting ready for next year's pen relay because he's a lifelong participant. In fact, it's a fact that he sold more funnel cakes than anybody else. Now, he also has a way of becoming missing. And though we've tried getting hold of missing persons, and sometimes poor Ann just doesn't know where he is. So since we know his whereabouts tonight, I guess, Ann, you could remove his picture from the milk cartons. No one's busier than Ben. In fact, he almost wasn't available today. You see, his beloved cat Pumpkin's birthday was yesterday. So we had to switch the event to today. So Ben and Pumpkin usually celebrate at the Four Seasons. It's very touching. They're very close. But not that Marion doesn't take second place. To Pumpkin, Ben gives her equal helpings of Friskies. As many of you know, Marion is quite a dancer. She has tried to teach Ben to dance, but alas, dancing is not for Ben. Or as Ben's dance instructor referred to Ben as Jose Clumsy. Well, I really do appreciate Larry and Ben's participation in tonight's event. Each in his own right is a Philadelphia icon, and those of us who call them friend are the privileged ones. And I want to express my appreciation to ADL and those individuals responsible for this terrific party. Nancy Barenbear, Barbara Shave, Carly Unger, they worked so hard to make this thing happen. They worked tirelessly. They worked hard and tirelessly all year, supporting ADL in its mission. The Anti-Defamation League is fortunate to have you. My association with ADL has given me the opportunity to meet and work with some extraordinary people, and the many generous and selfless board members, and of course tonight's roasters, Larry Spector and Ben Zuckerman. To ADL and to all of you here, thank you so very much.